I know you must be rather happy about the election in more ways than one. I wanted to ask you because you're a person that does have, that extensive experience in campaigns and politics, political consulting. It seemed to me that the inauguration of Mayor Karen Bass was very high end. I mean, I don't know how normal is it for a vice president to be part of a mayoral inauguration, and how common would it be for all of those lawmakers to fly in from Washington? I mean, never mind Stevie Wonder performing, which is another conversation.
Wow. No, I mean, listen, what you lay out is what makes Karen Bass special. We talked about this when she first declared for her candidacy, and you're right. An inauguration like that is not normal, but that's because Karen's not normal. Karen is a special candidate, and when you look at the number of state legislators that were there, she's a former speaker of the state assembly here in California. When you look at all the members of Congress, it's a testament to um, one, the cohesiveness of the California delegation, but more importantly, her relationships that she formed while she was in D.C. She had a really strong reputation for even working across the aisle on some of the issues that she cared about. So yeah, you did see people taking the time to come out and celebrate the inauguration with her. I thought the vice president's role was an incredibly nice touch. I mean, I had a moment to speak with London Breed after the next day on it, and London being the mayor of San Francisco, and just remarking on what an incredible time it is in America, particularly for African Americans from a role modeling standpoint. You've got an African American vice president. Um, you know, just saw Hakeem Jeffries become the first African American speaker of or leader of a party in the House of Representatives.
Hopefully soon to be
Uh,
speaker,
Soon to be, yeah,
2024.
right,
Yeah,
right, right. In 2 years, hopefully
yeah,
we can
yeah.
make that change. But then in California, you've got London Breed and now Karen Bass sitting at the helm of the two most noted cities in California, and it's just this incredible um, picture of one black excellence, but necessity for the country, right?
Hmm.
It's one of those little jokes, like uh, you need an African American voice to help fix this country, but you're seeing it, and you're seeing it realized, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. I thought Karen's ceremony was a beautiful one. It 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 shows for anyone that didn't know at that point the breadth of her reach, and out of that you should assume and understand her base of knowledge on all of these issues. She has friends and resources across this country that she won't hesitate to call upon.
Yep. I think that is a good way of looking at it. And we're going to need all of those folks. The state of emergency was declared despite the chaos in the city council that continues with disgraced bigot Kevin De Leon continuing to refuse to step down. Somehow they were able to pass that, and De Leon was in a back room voting uh, surreptitiously. I don't think they're going to be able to get away with that. Again, I know that a lot of people have been calling on the progressives, on Marquise Harris Dawson and Nithya Raman and Soto Martinez. I'm like, who's our new council members? Hugo Soto Martinez, Eunice Hernandez, to walk out every time, and even Curran Price, although he didn't do so last time, to walk out every time De Leon shows up. And Mike Bonin, of course, did, but now he'll be gone. He's no longer on the council. But they can't do it forever, right? I mean, they're going to have to do the city's work. So how do you I mean, I feel like there must be more they can do besides, they've stripped the guy of his committees. They've, We'll talk about that when we come forward. You know, where not only where in the world is KDL as Black Lives Matter has challenged, but what is next? I know there's a recall in motion, but what is next? It feels to me like the council members, particularly the council president, who seems to be siding with KDL, could do more. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Dr. Erica Pond with the California Department of Public Health, reminding you of ways to help stop the spread of COVID and other viruses this winter. Boost your immunity by staying up to date with COVID boosters and flu shots. Wash your hands often with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. And protect others by staying home and testing for COVID when sick. More tips at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by CDPH.
Bring in the new year with Cat Williams. He's coming to Ontario in the Toyota Arena December 30th. And in Los Angeles in the Microsoft Theater December 31st.
I don't know what I'm gonna do about this light bill. Just hit the blunt one time and see if it don't change your perception of what's important in your life. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this life. Them boys. I got 12 candles. I've been waiting to burn them.
He's back with an all-new show. It's the award-winning comedian, Cat Williams.
Just so you knew they was lying, they said some next that don't even make mathematical sense. They said there's a chicken wing shortage, but we got plenty thighs.
Cat Williams with his special guests, Mark Curry, Tommy Davidson, Tony Roberts, Daphne Springs, and Pretty Ricky. In Ontario, get tickets at Ticketmaster. In Los Angeles at AXS.com. Bring in the new year with Cat Williams.
Warmest wishes for a joyous holiday season and a happy new year from your friends at KBLA Talk 1580 and MVP Accident Attorneys.
Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell. You know, the fries covered in bold Mexican spices you dip in a warm nacho cheese sauce. You could also dunk them in nacho cheese sauce or pour the sauce onto a pile of them and create like a nacho fries nachos. The thing is that you eat them with nacho cheese sauce. That's what makes them nacho fries. Otherwise, you're just eating fries and sipping on nacho cheese sauce, and that's the wrong way. Sorry, just really passionate about nacho fries.
Nacho fries are back, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation which vary.
It's Macy's one-day sale with great deals of the day, just in time for the holidays. Like 60 to 65% off Effie Fine jewelry, 60 to 65% off coats the whole family will love. And get 20 to 60% off Toys R Us favorites from Barbie, Paw Patrol, Discovery, and more. Plus, everyone gets $10 in Macy's money for every $50 spent. Going on now at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, and I'm talking with Ed Sanders, man. There's so many, so many silly things I'm tempted to talk to you about because it's Friday, and sometimes it's nice to have fun on a Friday. But I do want to ask you about the flavored tobacco. It looks like you had another victory following your victory on that. Right? Is Ed Sanders there? Oh, okay. I guess I don't have Ed on the line, but we will get him back. And I'll take this moment to remind you, please, pretty please get our app. It's KBLA 1580, wherever you get your apps, and just download it. You can hear a lot of the shows that you may have missed, and they're under podcasts. You can also see us on YouTube simply by pushing on that tab that says KBLA TV. That's how you do it. And I hope you will do it. Visit us if you know, if you missed me on the weekends, visit us on social media. It's KBLA 1580 anywhere, or me, DiPrima Radio, DIPRIMA Radio. Please like, follow, and all that good stuff. So I was asking Ed about the flavored tobacco. It's an issue he's been working on for quite some time. Voters agreed. The voters said, we're going to go ahead and approve the ban on flavored tobacco. And then the state weighed in on it, and I understand that was yet another victory for you, Ed Sanders.
Yes. So, and sorry, it sounds like the call dropped there, but you know, for as this effort has moved forward, we've seen victories at the legislative level, and then now at the ballot box this past November. I think what we always expected was that the tobacco industry would challenge local communities and the state's ability to regulate the sale of flavored tobacco, and this got appealed all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court sided with the law and the ability of states and local municipalities to regulate the sale of flavored tobacco, and so Prop 31 will stand, and SB 793 does become the law of the land in California. And from a legal perspective, I thought SB 793 was always written on sound grounds, and obviously when it became electoral issue, it was still those same soundness. But there's always a question because it was being appealed up to this Supreme Court, and wondering how this Supreme Court would respond to an appeal from an industry like the tobacco industry. If there was any industry that I thought could, let's say, play the legal game to their benefit, I thought it might be the tobacco industry. But in this case, the Supreme Court sided with the state of California and has allowed SB 793 to become the law of the land.
Yay, congratulations to you on that. And
Thank
it
you.
becomes a law in about a week, right?
Yeah, that's right. Which is, as it's always this time of the year as you jump into the holidays, and whether you get towards January 1 or so, the new laws take effect. This one, I think, goes in effect a little bit ahead of that schedule because it's a law that's already been passed. But excited about that. Ultimately, it's one of those laws that will save lives in the long run, and that's good policy work from my perspective.
Yep. Well, it's also nice when, you go through all that. This is our second time, right? Our second round. And this time it should stick. So that'll go into effect December 21st. And the fact that 76% of the voters approved it is also
you continue to trail him like that, what I'm getting at is just that alone is a physical intimidation, right? That's not
okay.
The
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree, Ed, because to me, the idea that a city official can beat you up because you're yelling and protesting them and following them around is the real problem.
No, I just don't agree with that, because I also know, and what you're also seeing is that look, public discourse and debate is healthy, right? And I'm not one for silencing, the public on questions, but in a lot of ways, you've got folks that are out at residences, and we see it on the issues that we
So you're
care about.
allowing KBL to cast himself as the victim, and he is not the victim.
No.
He is not the
No, and it's
victim.
not a
He is
KBL issue,
he's facing the consequences of his actions.
But it's not a KDL issue, because this goes across the board. I mean, there are a number of different issues, whether it's billboards or something like that, where folks are showing up at members' homes, and it doesn't hit the news, but there's a proximity to people and their families that's taking place. And my point on the very first part about it was, where it leads to some sort of physical violence, the precedence of it all, that's what's worrisome to
me.
Right.
Okay, we got to go into news, sports, and traffic. And we'll continue the point, because this is the debate that is happening in City Council. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm John Marshall. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The Falcons are finalizing preparations to play with the new quarterback. Desmond Ridder is making the start when Atlanta takes on the Saints in New Orleans Sunday afternoon. It was announced just over a week ago that he was taking over the role. A Chicago police officer accused of beating a woman with a baton and wrongfully arresting her during a protest over the police killing of George Floyd could be fired from the department. CPD Superintendent David Brown recommended that Officer James Hunt be fired in a letter sent to the police board. Brown filed charges against Hunt over the incident. Today is expected to be the busiest day ahead of Christmas at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia. More than 300,000 people are predicted to be traveling through the A. Airport officials say passenger numbers in total through January 3rd could exceed 5.2 million people. That's the latest. I'm John Marshall on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the Accident Guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? The Accident Guys can come to you almost anywhere, so you don't have to come to us. Se habla español.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
At the moment, the best women's college basketball team in Los Angeles is on the UCLA campus. In a local showdown last night, UCLA got by USC 59-56. Emily Bessoir led the 10th-ranked Bruins with 16 points. The Clippers played Phoenix last night without 4 starters, and the result was not much of a surprise. The Clippers lost by 16, snapping their 3-game winning streak. On the bench was Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Reggie Jackson, and Ivica Zubac. The NFC West title is no longer available. The 10-4 49ers clinched it last night with an 8-point win at Seattle. The 49ers are 5-0 in the division, including 2 wins over the Rams. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we're slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
When you're the victim of a car accident, hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for your free consultation.
Call me your MVP.
Over 100 million people around the world have felt the thrill of Broadway's most spectacular musical, Disney's The Lion King. And now you can too. Experience this breathtaking theatrical event and see why the New York Times declares there is simply nothing else like it.
Give the gift that roars at the Pantages Theater, February 2nd through March 26th. Visit BroadwayInHollywood.com.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? but getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
On Sunday, January 15th at 4 p.m., SCLC Southern California presents Moving into the Promise of the Beloved Community at the 52nd Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Legacy Celebration. President William D. Smart invites you to attend the celebration on Dr. King's birthday, Sunday, January 15th, 4 p.m. at the Sheraton LAX, 6101 West Century Boulevard. This year's event will honor community members who have made a significant impact in 2022, including our own Tavis Smiley, who will also deliver the keynote address. For tickets, call 213-268-3082 or email Pastor Smart at sclc-sc.org. That's 213-268-3082 or email Pastor Smart at sclc-sc.org. Don't miss SCLC Southern California's 52nd Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Legacy Celebration, Sunday, January 15th, 4 p.m. at the Sheraton LAX.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Xeljanz. Visit Xeljanz.com or call 1-844-XELJANZ.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Do appreciate you talking with Ed Sanders, and we're agreeing to disagree about KDL. I think he's pulling a Donald Trump and making himself into the victim. Oh no, people are chasing me, people are following me, and then turning around and trying to strangle a guy and beat him up. At the same time, Ed is saying it's not just about KDL, it's about, public discourse and the tone and what is considered okay and what's not. It sounds like, Ed, you're saying that you don't think people should be protesting at people's houses. Usually when it gets to that, it's because nothing else has worked. The LA City Council passed an ordinance saying you have to be 300 feet away from an elected official's home, and I was up at that encampment outside of KDL's house, and they were way down at the other end of the block, so there was no proximity to his home at that time. But a lot of people from the community were out there with the protesters, asking that this guy step down from their district. So I just wanted to let you land, because I know you were making a point about, what happens when the rhetoric heats up and folks protest at people's homes.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, I think, part of it is the issue, right? Like, I think all of us are of the same mindset that Kevin should step down. I always flip it around. If I saw, let's say, a group of, conservative, tax folks or, no tax advocates were hounding, an elected official that I like, let's say Karen Bass as the new mayor, and we're doing it with that sort of fervor and that stuff, I would say that was wrong. And so I'm taking a step back and looking at it like, okay, where in the public discourse is this good for the future of politics? And I'm not so sure that the physical using physical proximity, to make your point, to me borders on, just intimidation and to your point, if something's not moving, and then, the next step is to intimidate someone either in their home or in their in their physical space.
He's not being intimidated. He's being protested, and the fact is that's a it's not like, the press is reporting it like Jason Reedy is some unhinged guy. It's part of a plan. He was part of Where in the World is Kevin De Leon. Now that vituperative exchange, those two do have a history. Kevin De Leon has a history of targeting Reedy, and Reedy has a history of hating De Leon. So they that sort of heated rhetoric, there's a mutual disdain between those two individuals. But as far as protesting at someone's home, protesting where they go, well, to me, that's the consequence of your action. And I understand what you're saying about Katie, about in general, if white supremacists decide they're going to come and, like they did, say they're going to march on Maxine Waters' office or her house.
Yeah, you'd be living.
Yeah, well, no, then the community would come together, which is what happened, and that those things didn't happen. Those things disappeared because the community was understood that we had to stand behind our elected. We
had to protect our electeds, and that's the point. We're not going to agree on this because they have protection. Those electeds don't, they have more protection and more responsibility than the average citizen. Okay. I mean, we will disagree on that. I mean, like if you're 6 inches from someone, that's not protection.
He is surrounded by staffers. What did they do? They couldn't control Kevin De Leon because he was violent, and he decided to step to the front. He had like 10 staffers with him.
Dominique.
Well,
we don't ask staffers to do that. That's not. You know what I mean?
No.
Again,
not that the staffers were meant to fight. They should have kept him from attacking Reedy and let him continue to leave. As he went through the door, he was gone. Why? He turned around and decided to fight. That was his choice.
I don't know. I don't know whether we're looking at the short clip or the full clip.
I'm looking at the full clip and the short clip.
Yeah, I'm just saying there was someone, impeding him walking 6 inches in front of his face. That sort of physical proximity is outside of the bounds of protest. And if that is accepted protest, I'm saying that you wouldn't appreciate that if you saw someone 6 inches from Karen's face yelling at her, whether you got your hands up or anything like that. Everything that flowed from that to me was almost a natural reaction of just heightened
Where's Kevin's?
Where's
the council member, the elected official, the public figure? Where's his responsibility in this?
Listen, and again, Dominic, I don't want you to paint me like I don't want Kevin to step down. I want Kevin stepping down, but I don't agree that he was in the wrong there because I thought he was leaving the event. He
should have walked through and kept his butt on walking. He should have kept himself on walking. No, he was out. He should have kept himself. No, he was through the door. He should have kept walking, gone to his car. He shouldn't have been there in the first place, to be honest. Why are you playing, Kevin Santa when you have created a disaster?
That doesn't matter to that. What we're talking about is there's a guy that is 6 inches from his face. That's not protesting. That's intimidation.
Well, it happens in protests all the time. I mean, you've been to many a protest, Ed. I know that you have. And you see people yelling at each other all the time. Counter protesters, cops. Hopefully they don't attack you like, we want our officers to do in those protests. We want them to be the more professional one and not beat someone up because they're yelling or in their face. That's what we want. That's called being a professional, being held to a higher standard because you're a public figure.
Yeah, but we're talking about people. And you know what I mean? People are there are, what you're saying is what you want, right? And that's right.
What's expected.
We don't want that. But we also know that the interactions with energy and emotion can get out of control.
Yep.
And if you're protesting, and look, a lot of this is terminology, right? Because you could say protester, you can say, if I flip a word around and say agitator, it changes the context. And I don't want to play.
I mean, that's
word
semantics,
games, but,
right? And the other thing is that ain't going to happen to the mayor because the mayor has a security detail when she's, working. So even if protesters come and, so now they're talking about adding security details for city council persons. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an expense. If they feel they need it, they should have it. But I don't think they need it. I don't think his life was ever in danger. Those are protesters. He knew those people. The only one that got unhinged was the council member when he attacked a protester.
Man, there was a lot of pushing and shoving to that point. I just don't agree with that.
All right. I know you want him to resign, but clearly he's not going to do it. So what do? We let him normalize sitting on the council. Nobody yell. Everybody play nice in the sandbox. Nobody go to his house. Nobody risk hurting his feelings because it would be bad decorum. And so what do? Sit by and watch this guy collect taxpayer dollars, paint himself as the victim, grandstand, and try to move on like nothing ever happened. I mean, for Gil Cedillo to sit up there and say, "Oh, well, this is cancel culture," we see where this is going, and I'm not okay with that.
Well, I mean, I get it, but there are processes to this, right? And this is a political process. We've talked about this on the federal side. Look, we're looking at it on the federal side with Donald Trump. The things that Trump did, they have a process and they went through impeachment. They couldn't move him out. And I'm not saying that on the local level, we've got a process. And if it's a recall process, then we need, X number of signatures from that district. And
20,000.
Given the energy that's out there, those signatures, and the amount of energy that's out there, we should be able to collect those signatures, pretty much overnight. Get being qualified for the ballot, and then, it's an election. It's a process to it. I'm not one that tends to agree that the city's business should shut down. I mean, the council makes so many decisions on things that there are programs that need to be funded. There's people trying to build homes and stuff.
I mean,
like
understood.
That
we needed a state of
decisions.
emergency too. We needed that to get done, and thank God it did. But the thing about it is, your solutions, which is polite protest and process, means he can get away with normalizing himself and continue to act like nothing happened. And I'm not okay with that.
I'm not sure what's normal. He's stripped of his committees, and to be clear, I'm not saying that you shouldn't protest him. I'm just saying you shouldn't.
He's stripped of his committees, but yet he had an
like
item on the agenda. How does that happen? And how is the city council president just defending Kevin De Leon without even having an investigation, just saying, these protesters, it's so terrible, and the same thing with Councilmember Rodriguez. You're going to condemn the protesters before you even do an investigation of what happened. It makes it seem like the city council members are protecting somebody who needs to be pushed to step down.
Yeah, I think you're looking at it from this very particular fight of Kevin De Leon, because
Right.
I listen, each one of them has had this on different issues, right? And it's each one of them could tell you stories of folks that really crossed the line on difference of opinion. And moved into I'm in your space, right? And that's what they're talking about. I mean, you can look at it like they're protecting Kevin De Leon, but what they're saying is like, hey, the public discourse on disagreements has gone somewhere that isn't cool, and that's what they're talking about.
Well, they should talk about it at another time, because right now what the net result is, they're playing right into his hands, and it seems like more than that, honestly. But I mean, we'll agree to disagree, but I understand your point about you don't want things to escalate to violence, and like that's normal either. And I put that on him. Ed Sanders is my partner in politics. Man, I was planning to spend so much time on this, but it is important. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
We may be LA's newest talk station, but when you're punching above your weight, it's not about whether you can throw a punch. Can you take a punch? We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. And we don't black down.
Did you know it pays to drive electric? With government rebates, you'll save thousands on the purchase of a new or used EV. And the more you drive, the more you'll save, both on fuel and maintenance far into the future. Start seeing savings today. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Special Needs Network Incorporated, together with Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, cordially invites you to Christmas Care Exchange in the Park, Sunday, December 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Lamert Park, located on 43rd Place in Crenshaw. Experience a day of giving, love, community, and support. There will be celebrity guests, arts and crafts, resource fair, and more. Come take a picture with Santa. Enjoy the DJ. This is a free event open to the public Sunday, December 18th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Don't miss the Christmas Care Exchange in Lamert Park, located on 43rd Place in Crenshaw. This is the season of giving, and the Special Needs Network, together with Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, wants to bless you Sunday, December 18th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be toys for all kids up to 18 years old. Children must be present. See you Sunday. Thanks to our sponsors, Let's Behold, The Butterfly Effect, and SEIU 721, State Council on Developmental Disabilities, Niagara Water, Lakeshore Learning, Puck Schools, Crystal Stairs, Beach Cities, Beta Gamma Nu, Casa Lopez, and Los Fabulocos.
When you're the victim of a car accident, who goes to bat for you is crucial. We're MVP Accident Attorneys, the personal injury pros. Hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. When it comes to getting the maximum compensation you deserve, our team hits it out of the park. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for a free case review. Call 833-MVP-WINS.
Call on me, your MVP.
We're not ratings driven. We're engagement driven. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Check it out.
If it's engagement that you want, we got it. 800-920-1580. Me and Ed, we're not passionate about things. We just, we don't care about stuff at all. Happy Friday. Ed, again, we'll have to agree to disagree, but what were your thoughts when outgoing council member Koretz basically dropped an F-bomb? I yield my time and F you. Again, you're talking about decorum and what are the standards for people in office versus the standards for protesters or just average citizens who aren't protesters. I thought that was over the top. Even to me, even if a protester's been telling you F you every day for your entire term, I just don't think you get to say it back.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
It was funny, though. Yeah.
It was funny. It was surprising. But, again, it's... I think there's decorum that you I'm cracking up because that one, I forgot about that. And that's Paul Koretz, that seems so out of character for him. But I get it.
I mean, so do you think it's a signal that he's not planning to run again?
Well, yeah, I think so. Or at least if it is, that'll be the start of the campaign.
That'll be his campaign slogan, I yield my time and F you.
Yeah, that part. I mean, it's wild, though. I mean, you look across the country, though, Dominique, and the whatever sense of politeness or civility that we think elected officials should have, we're seeing that's not necessarily the case anywhere, really. You've got members of the House of Representatives that are just off their rocker.
Yeah.
And you've got, the worst part is you've got county sheriffs across the country that are sort of unhinged, if you would, or lack civility. And as much as we, in our hearts, us coming into this political process, want somebody to have that sort of civility, what's clear is that that's not always the case, right?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
but I was surprised that the council members were clapping and acting like, yay, he said it. I mean, it's kind of goes to your point about people being humans. He says protesters and agitators make it hard for them to do their job, but protesters and agitators are part of their job.
Yeah, but I think there are levels to this, as this, you know. There's no doubt that and I think most people like a conversation like what we're having. You know, we can have a spirited conversation, but if I'm trying to, if I take it across the line, then yeah, we've gone too far. And I think what you're hearing, what you saw from the members of the council was like, all right, there's no joy in serving when it's just that, and it feels like they're all under more constant, if you want to call it protesting, but
Yeah,
it
that's
just
what we
seems
call
like
it.
it's more severe.
Right. We're talking with Ed Sanders and you. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
We don't try to be all things to all people. We just remain true to who we are. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
This Sunday and every Sunday is the African Marketplace and Drum Circle Community Market. Get free groceries, essential resources, and buy black from local merchants of arts, beauty, custom black merchandise, and more. Choose from a wide variety of cuisines, custom-made clothing, jewelry, and a lot more. Experience the true essence of Africatown at Leimert Park every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Join the Drum Circle, dance, enjoy live performances, connect with other conscious black people. Experience black excellence every Sunday in Africatown at Leimert Park. You can find us on Degnan Boulevard near Vernon and Crenshaw in the heart of Africatown at Leimert Park. That's the African Marketplace and Drum Circle Community Market. Join us for music, shopping, food, and fun this and every Sunday. Support black businesses, recycle black dollars, and feed your soul. The African Marketplace and Drum Circle Community Market every Sunday in Africatown at Leimert Park. Brought to you by Africatown Enterprise and the African Village Vendors Association.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Well, I think one thing that we know for sure is everyone's a bit burnt out. I feel like we've been in constant election mode, and we definitely will have, well, not definitely, but likely we'll have another one coming soon with this recall. What are you tracking right now, with the new administration? We've got everybody all sworn in, a new controller, a very young guy, first woman city attorney. We've got new council members. What are you tracking coming into the new year for the city of Los Angeles?
I'm going to raise what is an issue that I think people should pay a lot more attention to, and it's access to water. The Metropolitan Water District declared a regional drought emergency this week, and what that ultimately means for Southern California. You're going to hear a lot about conservation techniques and, conserve water. I think you're going to see some penalties put in place if you're not able to reduce your amount of water. But, starting to connect all of the images that you see, like a Lake Mead, where bodies are coming up because the reservoir is at its, is down at the dirt level. The conversation about water and what we do in California in the midst of this drought that is covering the western United States is becoming more and more important. I know this week they're talking about the Colorado River and what allocation states can take from the Colorado River. So, it's not the sexiest of topics, but it's becoming more and more important for us.
Yeah, because when you don't have water, it's an emergency, right? It might not be sexy, but when you don't have it, remember when Cape Town was about to run out of water, and it's just almost beyond our imagination. We're going to have to come up with some new solutions.
Indeed. And, it is the challenge that faces the state going forward. You see the governor weighing in on it consistently. Legislative leaders are on it. We always try to take a look at it and see what it means to us from an African-American perspective, but there are other communities of color, First Nation communities, Latino communities, API communities that get impacted by some of the policy decisions that are made around water. And if we're talking about a resource, we want to make sure that our communities are protected in that.
Yeah, and even building housing, you have to have water for the people you're building for, so that can be an impediment to the widespread affordable housing that we so desperately need. Agreed.
If you can't get access to water, you can't build in the state of California now, and we know we need more affordable housing, but because of the water drought in areas, and if you can't get that access, then you can't build. So there is a trickle down of effect on access to water that happens, and that's just one of them.
Follow him on Twitter, Edward M. Sanders. See him today on Fox Soul at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Ed Sanders, it's been fun fighting with you. Thank you.
It is. It's always fun. Dominique, thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right, and you as well. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm John Marshall. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The Falcons are finalizing preparations to play with the new quarterback. Desmond Ridder is making the start when Atlanta takes on the Saints in New Orleans Sunday afternoon. It was announced just over a week